Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā. Bhagavati uttamashloke bhaktir bhavati nishtaki. Aradhyo bhagavan vrajeshu tanayas tadhama vrindavanam. Ramya kajatupasana vrajavadhu vargena va kalpita. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam pramanam amalam prema pumartho mahan. Śrī Caitanya-Mahāprabhu matamidam tatradharana para. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna, dear Baldev Prabhu, Vaswati Mataji, Philip Prabhu, and Vijay Mataji, thank you so much for your kind association in reading and hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We are reading today Canto 10 of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, chapter 22, entitled Krishna Stole Garments of the Gopis. We are almost towards the end of this section of the chapter. It has two major sections. The first half is about what we are reading, the Chirharan Lila, and the next is about the importance of the tree in this chapter. So we're almost, I think we will wrap this section, the Krishna stealing the garment pastime today. So we have covered till text number 23 yesterday, and we were talking about how, about what are the qualities which are very dear. And we talked about surrender. We talked about how Krishna was very pleased with their bhakti. And we also discussed that how the mood of the gopis after this pastime, they were not feeling cheated. They were not feeling vengeful. They were not feeling as if someone has, really ashamed them or any negative feelings. Rather, they were feeling like a priya, like a chaste wife would feel in the presence of the husband. And that's the main crux. That's the main thing which they really wanted. Krishna, being Sarva Yogeshwara Ishwara, knows that, and he did fulfill. So let's move on to the next verse, text number 24. Tasam Vigyaya Bhagavan Swapada Sparsha Kamyaya Dhrita Vratanam Sankalpam Ahadamodaro Balaha. Another word here, Damodara. So many words in this chapter. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Abhicharanaravinda Bhakti of the Swami Śrīla Prabhupada. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Lord understood the determination of the gopis in executing their strict vow. The Lord also knew that the girls desired to touch His lotus feet, and thus Lord Damodara, Krishna, spoke to them as follows. Wow, beautiful verse here again, that one quality of the gopis here, Dridhavrata, who had taken vow, not just vrata, Dridhavrata. Very, very Dridha means like fixed. Not just taken a vow, but they had taken a fixed vow. Like a line in the stone. Sankalpa, and that was their motivation. So Krishna knows everyone's kamyaya. Krishna knows everyone's kam or desires. We can hide from others. We cannot hide from Krishna, right? So therefore, we should always aspire to have spiritual desires. And Bhagavan, again, and Damodar, the two words used for Krishna, knew what was their desire? Swapada sparsha, that they wanted to touch the lotus feet of Krishna. This is a very beautiful desire, and we all can also have that. To touch the lotus feet is of the Lord is a very beautiful desire. And here gopis are anyways thinking themselves as Krishna's servant. So, and Krishna knows that. They did not explicitly say that because of their shyness. We read that in the previous verses. But Krishna knows that. So let's see what happens in the following verse.
So, Prabhuji, one quick question. So, Shapada Sparsha Kamayo. So, when we go to the deity room, we do the Dandavat, but we don't touch the feet usually. Definitely not in the temple, even at home when we go to the devotees' places.
That brings us a nice point. Actually, we can do that for the home deities when we are in a clean state, while waking them up and sleeping them, putting them to rest, like how we put Tulsi at their feet. So certainly we happen to touch either in the pitcher, or one has pitcher, or one has marble deity, or wooden deity, or metal deity. So that is allowed, but with proper guidance and care. But yeah, in the temple, if we are mentally touching, or we are mentally, offering pranams, it's as good as touching, right? Like someone will say, oh, I don't offer arti in the temple. So the pujari who's offering arti, if we are singing, we are dancing, or we are playing some musical instrument, if we are also equally absorbed, then we also get the same benefit of doing arti. So it's not that, oh, one pujari is doing arti and others are. Whoever is absorbed, Krishna Chetasa, will get the benefit. And sometimes, as a pujari, one could be mentally spaced out. May happen, not saying it happens all the time, but things happen. We're all work in progress. We could be mentally spaced out even while doing close service, and someone who could be far could be very absorbed. So bhakti is all about consciousness. So yes, even at temple, it's if we are mentally touching it, and we're like glancing at Krishna's lotus feet and meditating upon those lotus feet, it's as good as touching. And of course, at home, when there is appropriate situation, we do put tulsi at Krishna's lotus feet. So then we certainly happen to touch, right?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice.
You reminded me of a good point, but maybe we'll cover that some other day. I also want to go a little deeper in that topic of deity worship at home, how to wake up deities, how to put deities to rest, and things like that. Those are nice, and there is a lot of guidance available for those who have deities at home. It's always a nice thing to have that. Right?
Definitely, Prabhuji. That will definitely help us.
Maybe after this chapter, or after a few weeks, we can think about, we can look into covering some of those aspects. So Now we'll move on to the next verse, which is text 25, if anyone would like to read that. Yes, please.
Dhanyavad pranam to all the devotees. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Text 25. Sankalpa viditaha sadvayo bhavatinam mad archanam mayanumodita sasau satyo bhavitam arhati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace the disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Krishna said, "O saintly girls, I understand that your real motive in this austerity has been to worship me. That intent of yours is approved of by me, and indeed it must come to pass." Purport. Just as Krishna is free of all impure desire, so are the gopis. Their attempt to gain Krishna as their husband was therefore motivated not by a desire for personal sense gratification, but by their overwhelming desire to serve Krishna and to please him. Because of their intense love, the gopis did not see Krishna as God, but rather as the most wonderful boy in all creation. And being beautiful young girls, they desired only to please him by loving service. Lord Krishna understood the pure desire of the gopis and was thus satisfied. The Lord could certainly not be satisfied by ordinary lust, but he was moved by the intense loving devotion of the cowherd girls of Vrindavana. Very beautiful verse this is, and with the purport here says that the gopis love at the topmost love. They are the topmost lover of Lord Krishna, and they have no contamination in their love. They have no other desire, only their desire to serve Krishna, to please Krishna. And ordinary people, they always worship Lord with some kind of mixed desire. Like if I worship, I will get this, I will get that. Always there are some sense gratification mixed with the service. So, but Gopi's service is always pure. And Krishna, that's understood that Gopi's love are pure love. So that's why Krishna is also very happy, and his desire also very impure. So that's why there is reciprocation of love between Krishna and Gopis are very complete. That's my understanding, Prabhuji. Back to Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji. I really like the first line here. Just as Krishna is free of all impure desire, nothing material can touch Krishna. He is the Lord and the Master of the Prakriti. Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Right? The Prakriti, the Kamadev one time went to shoot lusty arrows onto Krishna. Just by a mere side glance of Krishna, that Kamadev, was practically fainted. Therefore, Krishna is called Madan Mohana. Madan ko bhi moh liya jisne, that's Madan Mohana. The one who enchanted even the Cupid or Kamadev or Madana is Krishna. So lust affects people of this world. Normal, so-called ordinary people like myself. But those who are completely pure, transcendental, lust does not affect them. They are above all this, right? They have conquered all these lower modes, ignorance, passion, goodness. They have conquered Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udaropastha vegam. They've conquered all these urges of anger, of the mind, of the belly, of the genitals, of speaking, all these urges. And therefore, they can make disciples all over the world, as Srila Rupa Goswami. So the point here is not only Krishna is free from all the impure desire, but the gopis, as we have discussed multiple times. Any pure devotee, it fits to all the pure devotees. Just as Krishna is free of all the impure desires, so are all the pure devotees also. That means they don't have any impure desire. What is their only desire? Loving devotional service, selfless loving devotional service. Only to please him, to please Krishna. Not for any personal sense gratification. A lot of powerful words are used in this purport. So, Krishna addressed, "Oh saintly girls." The word used is saintly girls, sadhvya. Sadhvya. That they did a lot of sadhana, right? Or for 1 month, cold water bath in the early morning and worshipping Katyayani, chanting mantras and archana and so on. So Krishna approved because of their sincerity, because of their sadhana. So if we also do sincere sadhana, or we are also called sadhakas. We are sadhakas. I'm not sadhu. Sadhu means who's pure or saintly. But at least we are sadhaka. Sadhaka means we're trying to do the sadhana process. Sadhana bhakti. My mother's initiative name, sadhana bhakti. So we are doing the process of sadhana bhakti. And if we do that, we will certainly become pure. There is no doubt. Irrespective of whatever our past may be, whatever current impurities we may have, there is hope for everyone. We should never be hopeless. I was just hearing that. We should never be hopeless. We should always have that positive attitude. That yes, I have a lot of shortcomings. I agree. I had a bad past. I had bad habits. I have some of those still. But I will not give up this process of sadhana bhakti. And one day I will mature. One day I will get pure. One day I'll be free from all the impurities. So Krishna said that your intent was approved, selfless intent was approved of Krishna, and it must come to pass. That means in future, Krishna will accept them as Krishna will be their husband. That's the meaning. Indeed, it must come to pass. That means whatever your intent, what was the intent? To get Krishna as their husband. Nanda Gopastam Devi Patin me Kuru. Give me the son of Nanda Maharaj. So let's see what happens. Any other thoughts anyone has in this before we move on to the next verse?
Krishna Prabhuji, I just wanted to say thank you for your humility and your honesty about your own sadhana, and makes me feel, because when I mess up, sometimes I feel that guilt or whatever, but which is a good thing, but it's also like, it's a good thing because it makes me want to do better. But the flip side of it is sometimes when we mess up, we feel like deflated, and we say, well, I can't even like do this correctly, and then we start castigating ourselves. And so picking ourselves back up and just trying to do better the next moment, make the next best decision is all we can do. And to hear, someone who's much more advanced like you to be honest about that is very helpful to me. So thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your honesty and sharing. This is very important to be honest to ourselves and honest to others, especially to devotees. because bhakti, practicing bhakti is no easy thing anyways, right? It's a fight against Maya. And even that, if we can't honestly share our heart, it will get very difficult. So we need each other's support. We need to encourage, support each other that yes, stuff happens. We're like children. I'm like child, like a child learns to ride a bike. No child rides the bike in the first go perfect and never falls. Maybe 1 in a million, maybe like that. But 99%, they will fall. Some will get major injury, some will get minor injury, but they will fall. And that's the learning process, right? Some will fall 1 time and learn a little faster. Some may fall 10 times and learn. But if they choose not to give up, they will end up learning, right? Any skill, whether it's bike, cycling, or swimming, or making rotis, right? No one gets a perfect round roti in the first go, right? Mataji, you agree? I also make rotis sometimes. No one gets the first go, everything perfect round roti. If they get, they're really brilliant. But it takes a lot of trials, and we fail, and we will mess it up, and keep learning, keep trying. We're work in progress. We're work in process. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to be. I have a lot of shortcomings. I do make mistakes, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly. But the goal is to learn from those and try not to repeat. And have someone whom we can share, who can help us to improve. So guilt, which helps us to take more shelter of Krishna, is healthy. Guilt which says, oh, I'm good for nothing. Oh, I can't even do this. Oh, this whole process seems to be a lot. Oh, better I just stop all this. That is not healthy. If we go through that emotional phase, then we must talk to devotees. We all go through phases, so we should have someone whom we can openly talk to if we're going through that phase, who can help us recharge, who can help us bring that positive mindset without being judgmental, without being selfish, right? In a selfless way, in a non-judgmental way, trying to encourage, uplift, so we can get back on track, right? Because if a child, let's say, falls down while riding a bike, no mother and father will ever say, hey, you are a fool, you can't even do this. It's so simple, right? Or I did it in the first go. I didn't fall 10 times. That's so discouraging. But no genuine mother and father will do it. Or no genuine teacher will do it. They will encourage, and that's their duty and responsibility in service. So yeah, we are all, so there is hope against all hopes, right? We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. Right? This was the prayer we used to sing in my school, I remember. Right? Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. Right? We shall overcome Maya someday. We shall overcome our lower modes someday. We shall overcome our lusty propensities someday. We shall overcome our lust, passion, ignorance, anger one day. Not through my own effort. Yes, I have to make an effort, but Krishna will help me. Guru Sadhu Shastra will help me. Ekaki amara nahi paya bala tomara shakati hache. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, all the great sages are saying, I cannot overcome on my own. On my own, I'm alone. But together, I get strength. Right? In Kali Yuga, the strength comes from association. So we must associate with devotees, especially when we are going through a lower phase in our life. Thank you, Prabhu. Let's read the next verse, 26. Who would like to read this beautiful verse?
Prabhuji, I would like to try.
Please.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa, devotees. Text 26. Na maya visita dhiyam kamaya kalpate brajita kvatita dhana prayo bijaye nesate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and his disciple Prabhupada Ki Jai. His disciples Ki Jai. Translation: the desire of those who fix their minds on me does not lead to material desire for sense gratification. Just as barley corns burned by the sun and then cooked can no longer grow into new sprouts. Purport: the words Maya Visita Dhiyam are very significant here. Unless one has achieved an advanced degree of devotion, one cannot fix the mind and intelligence on Krishna, since Krishna is pure spiritual existence. Self-realization is a state not of desirelessness, but rather of purified desire, wherein one desires only the pleasure of Lord Krishna. The gopis were certainly attracted to Krishna in a mood of conjugal love, and yet, having fixed their minds and indeed their entire existence completely on Krishna, their conjugal desire could never manifest as material lust. Rather, it becomes the most exalted form of love of Godhead ever seen within the universe. Hari Bol Prabhu. Krishna. Very beautiful verse, and I think it relates to, the translation slightly relates to one of the sloka in Bhagavad Gita also, I think. I don't recall, Prabhu, please forgive me, but translation kind of trying to recall the shloka. I think Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam, I think. Not exactly sure. Please correct, Prabhu. One who has his mind and desire on to Krishna at his time of death, he will attain Krishna. That's what I recall, Prabhu. Hare Kṛṣṇa, back to you, Prabhu. Please correct.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. This verse talks about a beautiful analogy. Scriptures are very, very poetic. Shukdev Goswami, and a lot of time, and even in Bhagavad Gita, there are like at least maybe 50 to 100 analogies given. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, hundreds and hundreds of analogies. Every chapter has analogies. Why? Because they stick deeper in our heart, right? How many of you agree with that? And an analogy goes very deeper, right? Like, the Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, sun rays, sun planet, so many, the mind and the chariot analogy. These are like car and the driver analogy, the parrot analogy. So many analogies are there, like hundreds and hundreds of analogies. So in this verse, there's a beautiful analogy given to show that those who have Krishna consciousness or advanced stage, Mai Aveshita Dhiyam. Dhi means intelligence or mind. Those whose intelligence is Avesh, invested, completely invested, Avesh, fully absorbed, right? In what? In Krishna. Kama Kamaya Kalpate. So, there is no question of Kama. or lust. As dhana means here barley corn, grains, any grain, like if it's rice or wheat, but here it's Prabhupada is referring as dhana as barley corn. In the purport, its translation is mentioned, but dhana actually here in the word to word you see it means grains. Bharjita Kwathita. So it has been completely bharjita and fried out by the sun, Kwathita, and then cooked. That means there is no question of it sprouting again. Prayo bija neshate. That means it cannot sprout. If it is if it's just lukewarm, it will or it may sprout again. So what does that mean? If our bhakti is lukewarm, we can go back to material desires again. It happens, correct? But one who is intelligent, his mind is completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. They have, so with the fire of bhakti, we burn, the fire of devotion burns the seed of material attachments. The intense fire of bhakti or devotional service burns the seed of material attachments to the extent they will not sprout again. But if it's lukewarm, there is chances, correct? So it has to be completely fried, completely cooked. And we have to continue the process lifelong. If we give favorable environment, if the seed, my bhakti is lukewarm, so the seed is not completely burnt out. That means the seed has the tendency to sprout. The seed of material attachment, the seed of negative things. Now, if they get favorable environment, that is bad association, correct? Asatsang, then they will sprout faster, correct? In the association of devotees, if I'm well surrounded by the association, then even the bhakti is weak. Still, there is no good environment for the bad desires or bad seeds to flourish. But if I'm surrounded by a non-devotee association, my bhakti is anyways weak and feeble, then naturally the seeds will grow. Right? But here we're talking about the pure devotees, which is gopis. Since the gopis' minds was completely absorbed in Krishna, there is no question of them having any material desire. The seed of material desire was completely burned out. So it cannot sprout material desires. It has been burned out. It has been completely fried because it only knows one thing, Krishna, pure spiritual. This is pure bhakti. Any more thoughts anyone has in this very, very nice verse with very relevant and analogy? Mentioning a nice point here. Unless one has achieved an advanced degree of devotion, one cannot fix mind and intelligence on Krishna. Actually, in chapter number 12, which we were reading yesterday, the first stage, if you let's go back to the chapter 12. I think it's here only. We were reading it. It also this is Krishna. Look, okay, here. In chapter 12, Krishna talks about different stages of devotees. And from 8th verse onwards, I'll pause the purport now. Number 8 onwards, Krishna talks about, is that the first class devotees. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. So mind and intelligence completely focused on Krishna, right? Now, if you link it to the current text we are reading, unless one has a high degree of devotion, one cannot fix mind intelligence on Krishna. So that first stage in 12.8, which is being referred, is not easy thing. Very high stage of bhakti is required, which we're aspiring for. That's our goal, for sure. That should be our goal. But then Krishna mentioned that execute the regulated principles of bhakti. That's what we are trying, right? If you go next, if you can't do this, then engage your intelligence in me, first the mind and the intelligence. And then the third is the regulative principles of bhakti. That's all we are trying. If you cannot fix your mind 100% to Krishna, which is very hard, right? Then engage in the regulative principle. This way you will develop desire. Gopis already have that. Gopis are already pure. But we have to strive to follow in their footsteps, to become the servant of the gopis. And we have to know that my seed of material enjoyment is not burnt out. So if I provide a favorable environment or a bad environment where the bad desires like to flourish, we all know what we mean here, right? Bad association, bad habits, bad environment, then it will flourish. But in the good association, it will gradually weaken, and eventually fry out. Okay, any more comments before we move to text 27? Okay, let's read the next verse. Would someone like to read the next verse? Text 27.
Prabhuji, I can read.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Yat yata bala vrajam siddha mayema rangsthyapakshapah yadudyashya vratamidam cherurariyarchanam sati. Translation by the disciples of Prabhupada Vijay, Prabhupada disciples Vijay. Go now, girls, and return to Braja. Your desire is fulfilled, for in my company you will enjoy the coming nights. After all, this was the purpose of your vow to worship Goddess Katyayani, O pure-hearted ones. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji, for so nicely reading this verse. Now this pastime is coming to an end, and Krishna is requesting, now you all go, right? Your desire is fulfilled. What was the desire? They were approaching Katyayani. What was the desire?
To have Krishna as their husband.
Krishna as their husband. Yeah. I think if we can at least take few like phrases from the verses. I would certainly take this phrase. Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. That was their prayer again and again. Every day they were doing. Not very hard, right? Nanda Gopa Sutam, the son of Nanda Maharaj, O Devi, O Katyayani Devi, Patim Me Kuru. Make him as my pati or my husband. Te Namaha. We offer our pranams to you. This was the mantra they were doing. Iti mantram japantyastha pujam chakru kumarika katyayani mahamayi mahayogini adishwari. So at least we can take this line. Right? And if you have to take one more phrase, this will be the next phrase I'll take. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Krishna said, Bhavato yadi me dasyo mayoktam va karishyata. Bhavato, all of you, yadi, if you consider me dasyo, my servant, if you consider yourself as my servant, then mayoktam, whatever I have spoken, va karishyata, you all must do. Right? Bhavato yadi me dasyo mayoktam va karishyatam. And what was the first phrase? Anyone remembers? Just now we
Sutam Devi.
Nanda Gopa Sutam Dehi. Yes. Next line. Patim. Who knows? Who will try?
Putim metu.
Mayarpita.
Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi. Oh Devi. Patim me Kuru Namaha. Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi. Patim me Kurute Namaha. Patim me Kurute Namaha. And the next one, Bhavato Yadi Me Dasyo. If you consider yourself as my servant, Mayoktam Va Karishyatha. This brings us to just cover 27. So yeah, this was the desire. How we went to Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi. This was their purpose. They were serving Katyayani Devi for this purpose. And Krishna said, now your purpose has been executed, right? The purpose has been fulfilled. And for in my company, you will enjoy the coming nights. So Krishna is hinting about the Ras Leela here. Your desire is fulfilled. Now you go back to Vraja. Let's see what Shukdev Goswami speaks next. Yes, would someone like to read?
I can read Prabhuji. Horizontal devotees and pranam. All wishes Srila Prabhupada, text 28. Sri Shuka Uvacha iti adishta bhagavata labdha kama kumarika dhaya antayastat padam bhajam kricharanir vivishur brajam. Translation and purport by the devotees of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada and his devotees ki joy. Translation. Shukdev Goswami said, thus instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the young girls, their desire now fulfilled, could bring themselves only with great difficulty to return to the village of Braja, meditating all the while upon his lotus feet. Purport. The gopis' desire was fulfilled because Lord Krishna had agreed to act as their husband. A young girl can never spend the night with any man except her husband, and thus when Krishna agreed to engage the girls in the nocturnal rush dance during the coming autumn season, in effect he was agreeing to reciprocate their love for him in the role of a husband. So the great devotees of Lord, the gopis, they did sincere desire prayer, and Lord Krishna who is the within our soul as a super soul, he fulfilled their earnest desire. Back to Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Krishna is the one who fulfills everyone's desire. So how can he leave his pure devotees? So this is Krishna. Varadraj. He fulfills all the varas. Vara means here, boons, benedictions, right? Different people approach him with different vara. Oh, I want this, I want that. But pure devotees approach for spiritual reasons, and Krishna does fulfill whatever they approach for. So we should also approach Krishna for bhakti, to intensify our sadhana, seva, serve Guru, serve Vaishnavas, serve him, and be happy and go back home, back to Godhead. Okay, last verse for today. Who would like to read this? And then we'll pause, because that's the was not read today. Gandhi Prabhu has joined. Long time, Prabhu. We're happy to have your association. How are you?
Doing good, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Still outside, yeah. My screen is so small, Prabhu, I may not be able to read.
Oh, your heart is very big. Therefore, you read Bhagavatam and give your association to us. Thank you.
Your heart is even bigger. Mine is small. Hare Krishna.
Is it visible on your screen? Or I can do a little bigger if that helps.
Yeah, I didn't bring my glasses. I'm
Okay.
outside. Sorry.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Maybe Nayan Prabhu can read if possible. Nayan Prabhu, would you like to read? Or Philip Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I can read.
Sure.
Atta gopai parivrito bhagavan devaki sutaha vrindavanad gato duram charayan sahagrajaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai and disciples Ki Jai. Some time later, Lord Krishna, the son of Devaki, surrounded by his cowherd friends and accompanied by his elder brother Balarama, went a good distance away from Vrindavana, herding the cows. Purport. Having described how Lord Krishna stole the garments of the young gopis, Sukadeva Goswami now begins introducing the description of Lord Krishna's blessings upon the wives of some ritualistic brahmanas. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, back to you.
Big ball. Thank you, Prabhu. So this pastime technically ends in this verse. And this is like the transition verse, you can say. Atha gopai parivrittai, surrounded by gopas. Over there, he was surrounded by very little assistants, you can say, 4 of them. But now, sometime later, like time has passed, that pastime has ended, everyone went back to their respective homes, and sometime later, a little while after that pastime, Devaki Sutta, son of Devaki, referring to here again Yashoda, Bhagavan, Vrindavanat Gataha, he went away from Vrindavan, Duram, far. They would take the cows every day. Why? Charayan, for grazing, Ga, the cows, the plural of go, Sa Agraja, very important. In the previous verse, the word used was Abala. Krishna reciprocated to the Abalas with the Abala. that means without Bala. Agraja, that means the elder brother, Balram. So very clearly in the previous verse, we discussed that Balramji was not present, but now there's a transition verse. A few hours have probably passed. Looks like the same day. And Krishna is going to herd the cows. And now Balramji is with him. And all the cowherd friends are with him. And they've gone far, far distance away in the jungle, in the Vrindavan forest, to graze the cows. And as mentioned, the purport, Krishna is Bhakta-Vatsala. Krishna is Bhakta-Vatsala. Now he is going to, he has fulfilled the desire of one devotee, the young little girls. Now he is going to offer benediction upon Brahman Patni, Yagya Brahman, or Yagya Patni. Yagya Patni, Brahman Patni, same thing. We will see in the upcoming days and maybe weeks too what that episode was. Most of you already know, but still this Krishna Katha is so sweet to go deeper in those pastimes. So pretty much this wraps up the Chirhara Leela, or Krishna stealing the pastimes, Krishna stealing the garments of the gopis. Very, very important lessons here. I don't think it's justice to summarize it in 2-3 minutes, but I would encourage, if you want to read the translations again and meditate upon that pastime, meditate upon some critical lessons we have discussed in, I don't know how many days we took, but at least 10 plus days, I think. On an average, we were covering like 2-3 verses. So even if we take 3 verses, we took good around 9-10 days to cover the 26 or 28 verses from the verse 1, or 29 verses we covered today. So on an average, we had like 7, 8, or 9 sessions for this, which are all recordings are also available and posted. So in case you missed any, or in case you want to refer back, or in case you want to relook for our purification. So I'll take a pause. If anyone has any comments, thoughts, additions till this point in the Leela.
So Prabhuji, in this chapter, up to this, we see that Krishna was called or mentioned as different names, Achyuta, Govinda. So, and we see the son of Devaki also. So in that context, is also right that he was addressed as son of Devaki rather than the mother Jashoda and the name of Devaki. Because one time you told that the mother Jashoda, another name is also Devaki.
Yes. Yes. So is it a comment or a question?
Question, because Krishna's addressed different names. I think calling mother of son of Devaki is also addressed that way, rather than Joshoda's another name of Devaki.
So now you are saying, why is it Krishna is not called Yashoda Sutta, or why is he called Devaki Sutta here? Kind of.
And actually not that. You told the other day that another name of Mother Joshua is Devaki.
Correct. Yes, that's what I heard from Radha Govind Maharaj. Yes.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah. That's why Maharaj mentioned that Yashoda is also many times addressed as Devaki. So it's another name here. And of course, there is a verse that Krishna, everything has a vivad, right? Krishna's, people, Jayati Janani Vaso Devaki Janmavado Yaduvar Parishad Swedor Virasyanna Dharman Sthirachara Vrijakna Susmita Shri Mukhena Vrajapura Vanitanam Vardhayan Kamadevam. Krishna's birth has a what do you call, like, there's a debate over it, whether it's Devaki's son or Yashoda's son. Whether he stole the garments of gopis or he didn't steal. Like, I guess technically he didn't steal because everything is his. Whether he married gopis or he did not marry, right? Whether he ate mud or did not, he did he eat mud or he did not eat mud or dirt, right? Did he kill Putana or not kill Putana? Right? That's also, everything is vivad, because if you kill, like, how can you mother? How can you kill a mother? Because everything is transcendental, right? So everything is vivad, janma vado. There's a vivad going on, whether he's in the Yadu's side or the Kaurava's side, right? Whether he's in the in Vrindavan or outside Vrindavan, right? Everything is but this is just the opulence of the Supreme, right? That great devotees relish his pastimes in so many ways, and everything could be simultaneously correct. This is Krishna. Much beyond our comprehension. Even Brahma with his 4 heads cannot comprehend, who are tiny jivas like us, to comprehend his pastime. Nonetheless, we should try, based on the holy scriptures, not to say that, oh, I've understood Krishna's pastimes, but to relish those and to purify our heart by engaging those proclivities in the right sources where they should be engaged, engaging our eyes, our ears, our mouth, because otherwise we will be watching Netflix and whatnot and pollute our consciousness and miss the human chance which we have been blessed with. So, Hare Krishna. Anything else before we wrap up? Grantraj, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Jagat Guru Śrī Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripasindubhya eva cha pattanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Jai Śrī Prabhupada, Hare Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
Hare